Today I'm going to be giving you guys a full-on tutorial on how to paint a model horse. Today's color we're going to be doing is blue Roan. This first part will be going through the things we will need, such as brushes and pastels and acrylics and all of that. The remaining part of the videos, not sure how many videos there will be, will show how to paint the model basically from start to finish. There will be some time lapse in there just because the videos can get a little long. But for the most part, I'll try to do a step-by-step video. So, first of the couple of the supplies you will need, of course, are pastels. Since we are doing a blue Roan, we are going to need a set of gray pastels, which these are soft pastels, and they usually come from white all the way up to black, with different lengths in between of consistency of gray. So, like this is black, usually the next one down is another black, but just slightly a little bit lighter, which is usually about 95%, 97. Then it goes, to 90, 85, or 80, or 76, all the way down to white. Usually you could buy these at most craft stores, or an art store. They range anywhere from $10 and up. Something like this, depending on how many layers you're going to do on your model, a set of pastels like this should allow you to do traditional sized, maybe about, I would say about 15, 20 horses, maybe. But of course it depends on how well you work with your pastels and if you prevent wasting. A couple of other things you're going to need, of course, is some acrylic paint, white, black, and you're also going to need some gloss to gloss the hooves if you decide that the horse is going to be a show horse. These paints you can purchase at Walmart. I know I've gotten a lot of people saying a couple weeks ago, they asked me if this type of acrylic paint will go yellow. It should not, okay? The thing about acrylic paints is that if they're sealed, what turns things yellow? The sun, right? Okay, so if it's sealed and it's kept indoors, it should not yellow unless you did something wrong. I have been using this type of brand of acrylics because the other brand I was originally using, which I was buying from my art store, was a little tube, something like this size here, and that was about $15 a piece. This I can get at Walmart for about $3. Of course, I do have to replace these a little bit more because they do get pretty bad in terms of drying out quicker and the consistency doesn't stay anymore. Another thing you're going to need is glazing medium. This is basically what it is. It's glossy and it dries glossy and it's clear. You could use it for all different sorts of, stuff, things like that. You could put in your horse's nose, eyes, hooves to give them more of a shine. Now remember, if you don't plan on having your horse as a show horse, meaning like let's say he's a Mustang, you don't want to put gloss on their hooves. In the wild, of course, Mustangs do not have gloss on their hooves. Now, if it was, let's say, an Andalusian or Lipizzaner or, whatever, they may as well have gloss on their hooves. Oh, sorry. But, of course, this is an artist choice. Sometimes I like to leave it off because then the owner who has the horse can officially decide if they want it on or off. Because once it's on, it's very hard to get off, and usually you have to repaint the hooves and all that other stuff, so it's a pain in the butt. A couple of other things you're going to need is a model, of course, a primed model. I do have one horse I'm going to be doing, which is the Roxy mold. Outside drying at this time from getting sprayed with her primer and matte finish coat. So yeah. Another thing you're going to need is a pan such as this. This has got some light brown in it, but you'll need a pan such as this. These are pie pans, which our family eats a lot of pie. So these come in pie pan. You know, the pie comes in a pie pan, and they're very useful, and they're cheap, and they work very well for painting and so forth. They also have a high rim so that the pastel cannot, you know, float out or fall out or stuff like that, and it's very useful. You're also going to need a range of brush sizes. I'll tell you that right now. This is one of my main brushes here. It's a very wide, it's a 3/4 wide brush. It's got a very soft bristle to it, so it doesn't damage the model, and also picks up pastels very well. You also need some smaller brushes, such for painting manes, tails, eyes, hooves, colors such as that. I mean, I have a range of paintbrushes. Some of them need to be replaced. They do get old. Luckily, Walmart sells a whole bunch of them. They're really cheap and they're really easy to replace. They're not super expensive, but if you get an expensive brush, such as one of the ones I have here somewhere on my table, they're usually about, oh gosh, $6 to $36 at an art store, because of the quality and what they're made out of. Yeah, so I think that's all the supplies we will need. Depending on what color you want to paint your hooves, like let's say you're going to put a white marking on your blue roan horse, you may need some light brown. Tan will work just fine. And we can also darken it up a little bit if need to, just depending on what, you know, how dark you would like your hooves to be, such as sandy color or, you know, stuff like that. And then I think that's it. Oh, and of course you're going to need some matte finish. Where's my matte finish bottle? Oh, wait. Oh, I don't have it in here. Oh, that's great. Okay, so matte finish, of course, you could buy at Walmart. You spray it in between every layer of pastel or acrylics or oils or whatever you plan on doing. Basically, it seals the layer that's underneath it. So the nice thing about matte finish with pastels or acrylics is that if you just make a big mistake, all you have to do is run over to the water, warm water, put some soap on the model, and gently brush it off. That's the nice thing about matte finishes, is that it is waterproof, and the layer above it will just run off until you seal it. Now, you do have to make sure that, you know, when you do spray with your matte finish, you need to let the model sit from anywhere from 20 to 45 minutes, depending on how wet your area is. Right now, in my neighborhood, we have been getting nothing but rain. It's always raining here. I've got a show this weekend. I haven't been able to ride my horse, and it's just been a pain in the butt and so forth. But we've just gotten nothing but rain. Rain, rain, rain. So, of course, if you have a very moist conditions, I recommend trying to spray in the garage or somewhere where it does not get a lot of moisture. The moisture in the air will affect how well the pastels and the matte finish set on the horse, along with drying time. So, let's go ahead, and I think that's it for supplies we will need. And we will start working on the model on the next video.